Yeah.
You didn't want to go to Minnesota to play 2-1 hockey under Jacques Lemaire. Now you'd like to go to Minnesota to play with Ryan Suter and Zach Parise.
I guess the narrative I'm curious about is you can't get inside Joffrey Lupul's head. And you phrased it on Twitter Sunday, and we talked about it on yesterday's show, with a lot of feedback about it.
I got so many retweets.
At no point, well, you should be proud young man. At no point did you say anything's imminent. This is the tricky business here. I thought you phrased it carefully because you're not saying it's a done deal. Lupul is out of here. Just like there's no guarantee. I know there were people saying, well, there's no Maple Leafs have been told they're being traded. No one is told you. You're not told you're being traded until you're traded. But you can certainly have it suggested to you that that's a strong possibility. And Andrew, with 6 days left, what GM's walking in front of a microphone going, we're trying to trade player 1, 2, 3, and 4? What player is stepping in front of a microphone and saying, yep, Dave told me I am, unless it's a weird case and it's a pending free agent thing, and the guy just says, I know I'm gone. Like Daniel Winnick's not even saying that. You don't think Daniel Winnick's been told by management? Hey, buddy, thanks for the contribution so far. You've been good. You've been a good soldier. We're looking to we know we might not be able to re-sign you, so
alert your wife.
Yes, we may try and maximize. Yeah, get your kids ready to get pulled out of preschool. We may try and maximize the asset that you are, so you don't walk off in the summer into the sunset like Mason Raymond did last year, or like Clark MacArthur did the year before that. This is smart business now by Brendan Shanahan to get things before they leave.
And you're right. There's no guarantee. I mean, hey, let's call this what it is. Joffrey Lupul is still not an easy contract to move. Right? There is a limited no trade. There's only a certain amount of teams out there that A, are in contention, B, probably have to win to the point where the general manager in question, 3 years from now, he doesn't care about Joffrey Lupul's contract, nor does he care about his injury history. It's going to take some salary coming back. It might take the Leafs eating some salary. There's a lot of factors in. It's not an easy trade to get done, but are the Leafs trying to get it done? You're damn straight they're trying to get it done.
You've always talked about, and it's made sense, and I agree with it too, and this even happens at the junior level, and you said veteran players don't care about draft picks coming in or prospects. Like Jose Bautista, we talked about last summer, really doesn't care if it costs Daniel Norris and such to get David Price. He's 31. He wants David Price now.
Right.
And he doesn't have to come around and say it.
He doesn't care about that.
He wants David Price. He wants John Lester. He wants something right now tangible to step into this team and start winning hockey games. Now, take a team like San Jose. You got Doug Wilson as a long-time GM. Todd McClellan's been coach there for more than a half decade. No Cup finals, no conference finals even with McClellan. You don't think if Doug Wilson popped down to see Todd McClellan and said, hey, we're looking at Joffrey Lupul, but it's going to cost us Chris Tierney and you know our fourth best defense. McClellan's like, yes, now anything, sure.
Yep.
Because he needs the bodies.
Of course.
LA was the same way 3 years ago with Darryl Sutter going to the final. They wanted to add pieces to get there, and they did.
And desperation will grow as injuries grow,
and
hopefully not one for Joffrey Lupul. But as injuries grow and this deadline gets...
I know I said this before, I think it was DRD, and it's huge sports buff. And searching online on my iPad of where I can find the radio player of Sports FM 90 fan, and next thing I know I found it and I started listening to it, but it's like
it's closer. Because there are some teams that play with house money. Like there was a report out yesterday, the Islanders have no plans to make some big acquisition at the deadline unless something falls into their lap. And the quote was, hey, our trade deadline was October when we acquired both Nick Leddy and Johnny Boychuk. And that's a good point. The Islanders are playing with house money. Win around, don't win around, get to the playoffs, get to the Barclays Center next year. That's okay.
Yeah, I'd say winning a round is important. One round is important. Going out in the first isn't. I guess it's a step from, but it's the same step they made 2 years ago.
But it's different there's different forms of pressure. Like Montreal right now has to be thinking, we have a really good chance to get out of the Eastern Conference. A really good chance. We're as good as anybody. And they are. right? They could lose to the Lightning or the Penguins, but they could win that series. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, yeah.
Of course they could.
And you know, you want some defensive depth. The Emelin injury, Gonchar injury, they'll be on the hunt for somebody to help.
And a guy like Mark Bergevin knows all too well that your chances, where you can look at your group and say, we have a legitimate chance to compete for a Stanley Cup, they don't happen very often. They don't.
They don't, yeah. I got to ask you about, you know, we're going to get to this MLB thing in a little bit. Curtis Glencross, I want to get your read on, I heard a lot yesterday on the radio. I was listening to some national shows as well in the afternoon on satellite. And so Curtis Glencross wants out of Calgary. They want him out probably a little more than he wants to. Okay, so but he has complained somewhat about how he's been utilized by Bob Hartley. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be demeaning. It's not by nature, but he is Curtis Glencross. Okay, that doesn't have the same weight as Brett Hull saying I've been underutilized. But he does have only 8 goals in 50 games, and this is a guy that you saw him tons. Be a pretty consistent scorer when he was healthy. When he was healthy, he was guaranteed to score 20 for those Calgary teams. Would you see him as a hot commodity that a team adds and slides into a second line scenario?
If you follow Elliot Friedman's Twitter account,
never miss it.
He says something effective. There's been at least 15 teams that have made phone calls to Calgary Flames. Curtis Glencross is going to go to some team and be a fabulous trade deadline acquisition. And the Flames are in a great spot because he only makes $2.5 million.
But wait, are they in a great spot being a bubble playoff team? Giving away, I know he's not. They're in a great. He was 2 years ago.
They're in a great spot asset-wise if they pull the trigger and decide to move.
But a team is going to want to not give them something that they're using right now. If a Pittsburgh, Rangers, Tampa wants Curtis Glencross, Calgary wants a player back that goes into their lineup, and that's not the easiest thing to do.
I don't know if that's accurate. I think in a perfect world, Calgary needs to realize, and I think maybe, now, if Brian Burke's pulling the strings, he has a difficult time with this. I think Brad Treliving's a little different. If they make the playoffs this season, speaking of house money, that's great. What a bonus. But I think they're building towards something. And it's not this year.
Well, no, you're not. And it's, what they've done is surprised everybody. And at the same time, it's a hard sell. Is it not a hard sell on trade deadline day to say we traded Curtis Glencross for a second-round pick, a third-round pick?
To who? The fans?